The Atlanta police are working to find out who started shooting on the set of a music video reportedly featuring Atlanta rapper Lil Baby. It happened on Verbena Street in the Dixie Hills neighborhood.
This man you were paying to protect you lost his life protecting you, and you're not going to say who killed him.
But, you know, what I think happened, or, you know, how it was told to me was Swiss was the target. Busta got in front of Swiss. The bodyguard got in front of Busta.
Bodyguard gets killed.
Bodyguard gets killed.
And nobody saw nothing when the police came.
I'm literally rapping. I was literally rapping my part when them gunshots went off. Like, you probably, if you pull up the video footage and the original footage, you probably can hear the gunshots. I'm literally rapping.
You hear the beat, you see the dancers, the lights, the energy. But what you don't see is the fear behind the lens.
He ain't filming it or nothing, I'm filming it because it's the kind of that y'all don't see.
In 2006, Busta Rhymes was filming the Touch It remix in Brooklyn. Then, shots rang out. His bodyguard was killed before the camera stopped rolling.
Because once again, this person died protecting Busta.
In 2017, rapper Sibo tried to bring unity to Sacramento with a community video shoot. 5 people were shot. 1 man didn't make it. These aren't movie scenes.
Sibo has a video shoot in Sacramento, and it was supposed to be promoting local unity and everything else like that, and all hell breaks loose. There was a drive-by shooting. 5 men got shot, and 49-year-old Ernie Sedena got killed.
They came to shoot music videos, but left dodging bullets. The hood doesn't care about cameras. Back in 1995, West Coast hip-hop was at its peak. Death Row Records was on top of the game, and Snoop Dogg had just become a household name. His laid-back delivery, street roots, and undeniable charisma made him one of the most recognizable faces in rap. But that West Coast fame nearly cost him everything when he crossed into East Coast territory uninvited. The problem began with a video. Snoop and Dogg Pound flew into New York to shoot the music video for their song New York, New York. But what was supposed to be a tribute quickly got misinterpreted as a diss. The visual featured Snoop and the crew stomping through NYC, literally kicking down buildings with Godzilla-style effects. To East Coast heads, especially those in the boroughs, this looked like straight disrespect. New York rap purists were already feeling the sting of West Coast dominance, and here came Snoop in their backyard, tearing the city down on camera. Within hours, word spread that Snoop was in town, and not everyone was happy. As the video shoot wrapped up one night, gunshots rang out. Someone had opened fire on the set. Miraculously, no one was hit, but the message was loud and clear: "You ain't welcome here." In later interviews, Snoop revealed how close it came to disaster. His crew had to move with heightened security. They finished the video under intense pressure, knowing that any false move could set off a full-blown war. Behind the scenes, cooler heads worked to de-escalate. OGs from both coasts started making calls. Even Biggie reportedly tried to defuse things, recognizing the danger of West Coast artists being targeted in NYC. The whole incident became another chapter in the East Coast versus West Coast saga, a war that would later claim the lives of Tupac and Biggie. But in this moment, Snoop narrowly escaped what could have been a deadly retaliation.
West Coast, baby, yeah! In the house! Wait. The East Coast don't love Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg? The East Coast ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg?
Today, the New York, New York video is considered a classic. But back then, it was a ticking time bomb. What Snoop thought was a creative vision nearly sparked a gang-level backlash. It proved one thing clearly: when you're a rapper filming in another city's territory, perception is everything. And in the mid-90s, when hip-hop was tribal, one misunderstood gesture could mean war. Before the platinum plaques and street anthems, Sibo was still rising in the West Coast scene. But even then, his music and his reputation were deeply tied to Sacramento street politics. And in 1993, that tension exploded on camera. Sibo was reportedly filming a music video in Sacramento. Some say it was meant to showcase unity among local rappers. But in a city already battling turf wars, bringing together different crews in one spot was a dangerous gamble. As cameras rolled, a confrontation began brewing in the background, not between rappers, but among affiliates and gang rivals in the crowd. crowd. Sibo, seeing things spiraling, reportedly fired a gun into the air, hoping to calm the situation. But that warning shot didn't diffuse the violence, it escalated it.
I got real homies up here, I got Bloods up here, I got Pyrus up here, I got from Oak Park up here. It's really unity up here with me. I don't give a where you're from, long as you keep it respected.
In the confusion, Sibo's friend and close associate, King Miller, was fatally struck. The shoot was abandoned, and what was supposed to be a moment for celebration turned into a funeral.
All the beefs and gangs, whatever, in Sacramento, which turned into 5 people getting shot and 1 person getting murdered.
Tragedy didn't just claim a life. It followed Sibo for years. He faced legal consequences for discharging a firearm during the shoot, and the incident became one of the earliest examples of how real street tension can hijack even a controlled set. This moment left a scar on Sibo's career and is still remembered in Sacramento hip-hop lore as a turning point, when the lines between music, message, and murder blurred beyond repair.
There was a drive-by shooting. 5 men got shot, and 49-year-old Ernie Sedena got killed.
It was supposed to be one of the biggest moments in 2006 hip-hop history. Busta Rhymes had just released Touch It, a fiery anthem that stormed airwaves with its robotic beat and aggressive energy. And now, the remix video was going to be a celebration of East Coast dominance, featuring an all-star lineup: DMX, Missy Elliott, Lloyd Banks, Papoose, Rah Digga, and even Mary J. Blige. The shoot was set for Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Industrial, gritty, but controlled. Multiple trailers lined the block. Security was hired. The label spared no expense. It was the type of set that screamed money and power. Busta wanted it big. Cameras, dancers, effects, everything. But with big productions come big problems. Even before cameras rolled, there were murmurs. Too many unfamiliar faces hanging around. Rumors of street beef creeping into the mix. Some said G-Unit affiliates were roaming the area. Others claimed there were ongoing tensions with local crews who felt disrespected or left out. According to insiders, Busta's team was already on edge. There were too many egos, too many entourages, and too many uninvited guests. And then, shots rang out. Panic tore through the set. Inside the building, artists and dancers screamed and hit the floor. DMX was reportedly shielded by his security. Missy Elliott was rushed to her trailer. Some crew members thought it was a stunt gone wrong, but outside it was all too real. Lying on the pavement was Israel Izzy Ramirez, Busta Rhymes' longtime bodyguard, shot once in the chest. Witnesses said the gunman fired, then disappeared into the chaos. Within minutes, police and ambulances arrived. But Izzy was gone, pronounced dead on the scene. He wasn't a random casualty. Izzy was more than a bodyguard. He was family, the type of guy who never left Busta's side, from stages to studios. His death shattered everyone who knew him. Rah Digga later told reporters, "One second we were laughing, going over takes. The next it was war. That sound, the panic, the screaming. I'll never forget that day."
It was such a beautiful day up until that energy came.
The NYPD launched an investigation, but no one was arrested. No witnesses cooperated. Fear sealed mouths shut. Rumors floated that G-Unit member Tony Yayo was involved in a heated exchange earlier that day, but nothing was confirmed, and Yayo denied involvement. Meanwhile, the video eventually dropped. It was electric, stylish, powerful. But if you look closely, you'll see it ends with a title card, in memory of Israel Ramirez. A subtle tribute, but behind the scenes, the grief ran deep.
Hey, yo, what up, Izzy? You know we had to finish this video, right? Just wanted to make sure that the world had an opportunity to see that our cause was a righteous one. You know what I mean? So much beef in the industry going on.
The industry took notice. Calls were made. Beef was reevaluated. Artists began increasing their on-set security. Suddenly, rap videos weren't just glamour. They were liabilities. This wasn't the first time real street violence bled into the music scene, but it was one of the clearest. A man lost his life protecting his friend in what should have been a celebration. And for Busta Rhymes, the pain didn't fade. He refused to cooperate with police, a decision that drew criticism, but also reflected the street code he'd long been a part of. No snitching, even in grief.
But I guess because the whole no snitching street code or whatever else, nobody, including Busta, wanted to actually identify or even give any information to the police.
What started as a video shoot for Unity turned into a funeral for a soldier. The Touch It remix was unforgettable, but for all the wrong reasons. This was a reminder that when the streets pull up on your set, the consequences don't care who's holding the camera. This wasn't just hip-hop flair, it was real life, real loss, and the true cost of being too close to the fire.
Love you and I miss you, homie. Hope we made you proud.
In the early 2000s, the South was rising in hip-hop, and with that rise came a battle for the crown, one that would turn from lyrical jabs to physical confrontations caught on camera. The contenders? Atlanta's T.I. and Houston's Lil Flip. T.I., already gaining a rep for his gritty delivery and street ties, had self-declared himself the king of the South. But in Houston, that title belonged to another man, Lil Flip, who had built his name off mixtapes, freestyle battles, and citywide respect. The moment Flip heard I quote, S claim, the tension quietly ignited. But it wouldn't stay quiet for long. While T.I. was serving time in 2004, word spread that he had been dissing Flip from behind bars. When he got out, he went full throttle. In interviews, songs, and freestyles, T.I. challenged Flip's credibility, painting him as a studio gangster who had fabricated his street credentials.
Looking at a who done took a bullet and wised up and learned how you treat motherfuckers. And you looking at a who took a bullet, been to jail, didn't learn how to treat motherfuckers from keep going to jail.
Lil Flip, never one to back down, responded in kind. But instead of a war of words, T.I. took it further. In a move that shocked the rap world, he went straight into Flip's own neighborhood, Cloverland, Houston, with a camera crew in tow. Ty didn't just want to talk, he wanted to expose. According to T.I., he went there to gather proof that Flip had been lying about his roots. But what he got instead was chaos. A confrontation erupted almost immediately. Words turned into fists. Someone allegedly struck T.I. from behind. Rumors swirled that guns were drawn. The cameras captured some of it, but the footage was never publicly released, allegedly pulled back to prevent bloodshed. The situation escalated so fast that even Houston rap mogul Jay Prince reportedly stepped in to cool tensions. Behind the scenes, multiple OGs on both sides knew how badly things could spiral if cooler heads didn't prevail. While no one died that day, the event marked a turning point in Southern hip-hop. It wasn't just about bars anymore. The street element of rap had just crossed into real-life turf wars. I quote, S bold move made headlines. To some, it was a power play. To others, reckless. Lil Flip later downplayed the incident, calling the entire feud unnecessary. In interviews, he admitted that the beef could have been squashed early, but pride on both sides kept it going. It all started over some dumb S, Flip once said. We could have talked it out. In retrospect, the T.I. versus Lil Flip beef became a case study of how far artists were willing to go to defend their name. It wasn't just clout or ego. In hip-hop, your reputation is currency, and in this case, both artists risked it all: fame, freedom, and even life to protect their legacy. No official truce happened immediately, but as the years passed, the heat faded. Both men moved on musically, and by the late 2010, Flip was publicly saying there was no more bad blood. Still, the memory remains. One of the most intense moments in Southern hip-hop, where a diss track turned into a street-level confrontation. Cameras rolled, fists flew, and the streets watched closely. Because in rap, sometimes the music video is only half the story. The other half happens off camera, in hoods like Cloverland, where real respect is earned, not streamed.
Tip ain't never hit Flip. Know what I'm saying? They never got the squabble, but when they finally pulled up, they exchanged a few words and shit. They was kind of distant. Wasn't no blows exchanged between them. All these bull stories, talking about this, talking about that, saying this, saying that.
There's something eerie about filming a rap video in the streets, especially when the streets don't forget. For Quando Rondo, what was meant to be a day of art and energy turned into a tragedy that left a young man dead and headlines screaming across Georgia. In August 2021, Quando Rondo was filming a music video in the Candler Road area of Decatur, Georgia.
A rapper from the Atlanta area, they say a pretty well-known rapper too, in this area, along with a second person in his black Cadillac Escalade. This is right across the street from the busy Beverly Center on La Cienega.
A known hotspot for street politics. Security was tight, but even that couldn't stop what was coming. Out of nowhere, a group of gunmen pulled up and opened fire on the scene. Multiple rounds were discharged. One man, reportedly part of Rondo's entourage, was shot and killed. Another was injured.
Windows are blown out by gunfire. They're under attack a few blocks away into West Hollywood. They wind up stopping over at Santa Monica and San Vicente, right in the very heart of West Hollywood.
No arrests were made immediately, and police were tight-lipped. But the streets spoke louder than the law. Speculation buzzed online, pointing fingers at rival crews and the rapper's long-standing beef following the deadly altercation with King Von the year prior. For Quando, the trauma was familiar. Just months earlier, he had narrowly survived another shooting while he was at a convenience store in Georgia. The constant tension surrounding his name made every public appearance, every video shoot, a potential war zone. It wasn't just about rap. It was about retaliation, respect, survival.
3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, killing a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath. The ending of a shooting that started in Los Angeles, California. Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic.
Even when you're filming on your own turf, danger doesn't always knock. Sometimes it crashes in. In 2020, Compton rapper YG was filming a video for his track FTP, a politically charged anthem criticizing police brutality. The set was chaotic but high energy. Red flags were flying, cameras were rolling, and the streets were filled with a crowd that looked more like a protest than a video shoot. Then it happened. Shots rang out. The scene exploded into confusion. In the aftermath, one man was found shot and critically injured. Police and paramedics swarmed the area as production shut down. No arrests were made, and the motive still unclear. Some claimed it was personal beef. Others said it was simply what happens when real street energy mixes with high-profile music projects. For YG, this wasn't new. He'd been around shootings before, including a deadly one involving a car registered in his name. But this hit differently. The FTP video was meant to be a statement, a form of protest. Instead, it nearly became a funeral. By 2018, Chief Keef wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was a symbol, a product of Chicago's drill scene, forged in the unforgiving streets of Englewood and introduced to the world through gritty, self-shot music videos that made I Don't Like an anthem for a generation. But when you come from where Keef comes from, success doesn't erase old enemies, it magnifies them. That year, Keef returned to Englewood, the very same South Side neighborhood that raised him. Cameras were rolling, dirt bikes revved in the background, hoodies up, chains swinging. It felt like a celebration, a homecoming. But behind the lens, tension was boiling. Word had spread. Rival sets, old enemies, had caught wind of the shoot. According to locals, taunts started flying from the edge of the block. First came the shouts, then came the stares, and then, as if on cue, a car crept around the corner. Slow, deliberate, hunting. The camera kept rolling, capturing street energy until pop, pop, pop. Gunfire rang out. Cameramen hit the ground. Crew members bolted. Keef's security detail immediately formed a shield, hustling him out of range. Bullets pierced the quiet hum of the shoot, ripping through any illusion that this was just a music video. No one was killed, but the message was chilling. You're not welcome back. Chicago PD investigated, but like most street shootings in Englewood, nobody said a word. No witnesses, no suspects. Just another incident added to a long, silent list. A week later, Chief Keef was gone, out of the city, out of reach. No tweets, no press, no apology. Just silence and a clear decision: stay famous or stay breathing. This wasn't just a video shoot. It was a reminder that some hometowns don't forget or forgive.
So I guess Chief Keef's staying at the W there, and 2 guys tried to attack him around 6 a.m. Okay, that's crazy. So like, there's shell casings everywhere. There's, holes in.
In 2005, the game was untouchable. He had the #1 debut album in America. He was signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath. And he'd just dropped Dreams, a soulful West Coast record dedicated to fallen legends and his rise out of the Compton gutter. So naturally, he decided to shoot the video right where it all began: Cedar Block, Piru territory in South Central LA. It was supposed to be a victory lap. Fans gathered on porches. Neighborhood OGs rolled through in lowriders. Kids stood wide-eyed behind yellow tape as The Game, decked in red, posted up next to muscle cars and murals. But in LA, especially in Compton, fame and power draw heat. As the cameras panned across the block, an argument broke out near the rear side of the production set. Words turned into threats, threats turned into shoves. Then, Gunshots. Screams tore through the music. Crew members dropped their equipment and dove for cover. Someone got hit. Sirens roared in the distance. LAPD swarmed the area, detaining multiple suspects. The video shoot was shut down immediately. No one died that day, but that wasn't the point. What stood out was how close the game came to losing everything, in a neighborhood he thought was safe. He later told interviewers, "It was the perfect metaphor for street fame. You can go back, but you can't go back normal." The Dreams video was eventually finished, but the bullet holes in the pavement, the fear in the eyes of the production crew, the emergency calls and bleeding bodies, that footage didn't make the cut. Because some stories don't belong in music videos, they belong in the streets. In 2020, Boosie Badazz was filming a music video in Dallas, Texas. What started as a routine shoot turned into a nightmare when gunfire erupted on set. Just days after the tragic murder of Dallas rapper Mo 3, a close friend of Boosie's, tensions were already high in the city. The streets were on edge. Boosie arrived in town not only to pay his respects, but also to keep creating content and music during a sensitive time. The video shoot was set in a public location near a strip mall. But as Boosie stood near his Sprinter van, gunshots rang out. Chaos broke instantly. Boosie was shot in the leg, sparking fears of another targeted hit. In 2019, 21 Savage was filming a video in Atlanta's notorious Zone 6. It was meant to be a celebration of his roots, a local hero returning to his block. But as the cameras rolled, the hood reminded him that no one's untouchable, not even in your own backyard.
It shot me, so my gun fell out my hand. And I remember us fighting over my gun. Then it went off one more time, boom. I got shot right here in my hand from holding the gun.
Shots rang out just as the crew was setting up for a nighttime scene. Witnesses say a group of men pulled up in cars and started firing. The crowd scattered, and though no one from the crew was confirmed shot, several people were injured in the chaos. Police later discovered shell casings and damaged cars at the scene. In May 2024, Atlanta's rap scene got hit with a reality check, one that even Lil Baby, one of hip-hop's biggest stars, couldn't avoid. The multi-platinum rapper was filming a large-scale music video in his hometown of Atlanta, but sources say the chosen location wasn't just another neighborhood. It was a turf claimed by a rival gang. That decision, whether accidental or not, would ignite a chain of violence that left multiple people injured and 2 children dead.
This morning say they were so excited to see Grammy Award-winning Lil Baby.
At first, the shoot seemed like just another 4PF moment. Flashy cars, camera crews, a buzzing crowd. But then the tension cracked. A verbal altercation broke out, reportedly between members of Lil Baby's 4PF crew and local affiliates. Moments later, gunshots rang out. 3 men were injured. The scene turned chaotic, and police were quick to respond, not just to the shooting but to the deeper issue. Authorities later stated that Lil Baby had chosen a known rival area, one he allegedly knew he shouldn't have been in. Investigators tied the shooting to rising tension between 4PF and another gang known as OMF.
Atlanta police are investigating after someone started shooting on the set of a music video. The shooting happened in northwest part of the city, and it took place while rapper Lil Baby was close by. 11 Alive's Beth Yates.
In 2021, Dallas rapper Yella Beezy was filming a new music video in Oak Cliff, one of the city's roughest neighborhoods, known for his hits like That's On Me. Yella Beezy had already survived an attempted hit in 2018 where he was shot multiple times while driving OT Highway. But this new shoot in his hometown felt more like a celebration, until it wasn't. According to multiple reports and video footage that surfaced online, gunfire broke out during the filming, sending crew members and extras scrambling for cover. No one was killed, but the incident instantly went viral. Some believed it was a warning shot. Others said it was street politics once again bleeding into rap. Local residents were quick to point out the risk. You can't just come back to the hood with cameras and chains. Not everyone's clapping for you. Police responded, but no arrests were made. Yella Beezy later downplayed the situation online, but the message was clear. Even when you make it out, the streets don't always let you film in peace. Atlanta rapper Bankroll Fresh was on the rise. Known for his street credibility and tracks like Hot Boy, he was considered one of the city's most promising voices, but his life and career came to a violent halt outside a studio where he was reportedly working on a music video. On the night of March 4th, 2016, Bankroll was at Street Exec Studios, a spot frequently used for filming and recording. That night, an argument with fellow rapper No Plug turned deadly. What started inside spilled outside, where over 50 shell casings were found scattered in the parking lot.
Still looking for the shooter.
We've been told that there were may have been some vehicles involved that left after the shooting, but we're asking anyone who heard or saw anything to give us a call.
Bankroll was shot multiple times and later died at the hospital. While No Plug admitted to being involved, he claimed it was self-defense. No charges were filed, but the streets had their own theories and scars.
The local rapper was killed. We have confirmed with the medical examiner's office that the victim is 28-year-old Trentavious White, known as Bankroll Fresh. Police say he appeared to be the only one shot, rushed to the hospital where he died.
Investigation determined that he was shot in self-defense.
Surveillance footage showed the shootout. Friends watched the rising star collapse in a pool of blood. One moment, he was laying verses for a video. His death wasn't just tragic, it was symbolic. Even when rappers bring cameras and lights, the streets don't always play by Hollywood rules.
What happened with Bankroll's mom's house? It was shot up overnight. What happened there?
When rap meets the wrong block, videos turn into battlegrounds, and not everyone makes it out safe. Until we come your way next time, stay safe, stay sharp, and remember, not every set ends with a rap. Some end with sirens.